Hey everyone, it's Sarah Oblak Spiker here, and I had a huge realization actually that I wanted to share with you, a paradigm shift that I hope offers you some insights, or maybe a confirmation, or maybe it is a permission slip that you've been seeking. So, you have heard me oftentimes talk about high achievers, our drive, our commitment, our dedication and devotion to not only excellence but to shattering the limits and really accomplishing and achieving way beyond what we ever thought was possible or what other ever thought was possible for us. Today I wanted to turn the conversation around a little bit and invite you to envision the other side of the coin. See, I am not implying that there's any scientific proof to that. It is simply my observation and my own experience has been that some of the most accomplished and high achieving athletes, entrepreneurs, leaders, executives, in any field, right? Individuals, let's say, have something in common, and that is a wound, a core wound that we all have worked tirelessly to overcome. Sometimes simply masking it and building undestructible wall around it, simply ignoring that it was there, but then overcompensating and trying to fill the void in other ways, mainly by creating results that were tangible, results that would give us respect, results that would give us attention, results that would give us praise, admiration, a sense of belonging, value, right, in the eyes of others. This praise can really feel good and it can be really intoxicating also. But what happens afterwards? You see, as a former athlete myself, I know that once I became a mom, once I became a business owner, once I became a wife, things shifted for me tremendously. Because the things that used to bring me all the success out in the field, on a court, in a classroom, in in the office, throughout my career, now were the very same things that nearly killed me, with severe depression and burnout that landed me in the ER more than once. But there was something else that has been lingering around that I was not aware of up until recently. And once that came into my awareness, I was like, wow, holy shit, I need to really be with it, sit with it, and then share it. Because one thing that I have learned, and one thing that I really admire about Aquarian leaders like myself, is our ability to use our lessons, to use our journey, and to share our story. And maybe, just maybe, our stories can become somebody else's playbook. By us openly sharing about our struggles and failures and failings, maybe we can help somebody avoid that. By us sharing our insights and lessons that we have learned, maybe we have saved somebody 10 years of their own lives in trial and error, right? I always see it from a perspective of who is that, what did I wish to have when I was going through that, and how can I turn around now and make it available? Even though, side note, oftentimes we can see people struggling and going through their own journey, but they're simply not available to not only hear that there's a solution, but not even available to grab our hand that we're extending to them. So everything has its own timing. But again, by me sharing openly my own journey, I trust that whoever is out there who needs to hear it, the universe will conspire. The person will hear exactly what's intended for them. So, with that said, like I said, there was something that was brought to my awareness long after I, realized that hustle and struggle is not necessary in order to achieve results. But I was not aware that I was still creating the struggle story, that I was still creating subconsciously the commitment to the struggle. Not only that, it had nothing to do with physically struggling. It was all about the stories that I was telling myself. And what it got to look like, it's so funny. I have never spoke about it before. There was a huge chip on my shoulder. When I graduated from my MBA degree, I turned to my husband and was like, I'm gonna get you a Beamer, I promise. And that has been a shadow following me everywhere I went. I always compared myself to that vision that I had of what am I supposed to look like? How am I supposed to build my business? How is my life supposed to look like? And the hooks that were holding me back were the ones that had nothing to do with my own perception, but perception of so-called reality makers when I was a child. And growing up in society, the opinions, the perceptions of other people, right? We have all heard the million stories about the wealthy, the greedy, right? The selfish. We have heard the stories and accusations that those who have it easy, oh, lucky them, everything is given to them, right? They don't have to work for it. Growing up overseas, one of the big things that I grew up around was, how do I even translate that? But frowning upon housewives, right? Being a housewife in my culture was really unheard of. So watching movies, the labels that were thrown around were lazy, entitled, right? Indignant, because in my culture, only a woman who works and earns her own money is worthy of something, is deserving, and is independent and strong. Strength was measured through that. And yet, when she made it on her own, there was a whole new set of labels. Now, the funny thing was that over the past couple of years, when I was really immersed into my own healing and into really elevating and shifting my own perceptions and really reframing all of those thoughts and beliefs, a lot of that has been shedded, a lot of that has been released, and a lot has been realized, hey, that's not even mine. But that was still one thing that persisted, that I was not even aware of up until recently, as I said. And when I realized it, I was like, I need to talk about it. So, as I said, from the very beginning of being a business owner, I had set incredibly high goals for myself. Goals that I knew on some level that I was not going to be able to achieve, not at this rate, not on my own, not in the way that I was doing things. But as a high achiever in me, I needed those goals. I needed them to be larger than life. Even though it was kind of a crazy self-sabotaging, like why would you do something just because you know you're going to fail anyway? That's the thing, because I did not believe that it got to be easy. I frowned upon being supported, and I frowned upon, it wasn't even in my field of awareness that the support that I was receiving was a good thing. I saw it as a weakness, as I saw it as disadvantage, and I saw it as a burden. And there was immense gift attached to it. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you, and I promise it will make more sense, looking around, there are so many high achievers out there who on the outside, and high achievers, let's be a little bit more specific. People with incredible amount of success. People who are front and center of masses who are looking up to them, who are smiling cheek to cheek, who are blazing the trail, changing the world, doing the work that really feels fulfilling and empowering and exciting, and they are called to do this work. And yet, on the inside, something is off. Something is just not off. It's just not quite there. And some of them will openly admit that it feels like they're running in circles, that it feels like they're only half there or halfway in. that they have outgrown what they're doing, that they have outgrown their circles, that they have outgrown their vision, but they're only keeping up the appearances. Many of them will also admit that it feels like they're on a hamster wheel because the level of responsibilities that they have taken on towards their team, towards their clients, is just too great for them to step back and quit. Some of them will admit that while they have this big vision, just the idea of taking the next step is too overwhelming because they have no patience, they have no capacity to entertain the idea of taking one step at a time because they are so used to leaping. And that's a summary of what has been holding me back, the way that I have been sabotaging my own success at the level that I knew was there. It was one of the things, like you're looking at the ocean and you see the island there. It's a fact, the island is right there. It's just like, how do I get there? Can I literally part the sea to get to the island? And of course, naturally, we're parting the sea here, right? But I was making it so much harder on myself because the story attached to it was filled with shame and guilt. See, in my own struggle and in my own desire and drive and incredible devotion, obsessed devotion sometimes, to reach particular milestones that I kept moving along the way, right? By the time I got there, it was already 15 miles ahead of me. One thing has been consistent, and that has been my husband's support. His faith in me and his unconditional love. However, and if he's watching this or if he ever sees this, this is definitely intended for that, and I will try to not get emotional. But his unconditional love and support, in a way, I did not feel I was worthy of it because I was not the one who, let me rephrase that. The reality that I created did not get to be created the way I thought it was supposed to be. So I had no capacity of even receiving what was right in front of me, what was offered, what was gifted. I was not available to receive it without any judgment. So every single time it was, how many business owners, how many entrepreneurs get to say, you know what, I could really give it my all. I could really dive all in and devote 1,000% to building something, and I could take time to make sure I do it exactly the way I wanted to do it. And I'm not being pressured, I'm not worried because I know I am fully supported. That was not me. Up until recently, I had no capacity to even see it that way. Because on the contrary, simply because I did not achieve a particular goal that I thought would give me not only level of satisfaction, but level of approval and acceptance within certain circles, so to speak, I was filled with shame and guilt. Who am I to show up on camera? Who am I to guide clients? Who am I to even speak about something that I'm still working on clearly? But even though I'm working on it 24/7, I wasn't really believing in it. And I wasn't really... It's so funny. I was simply judging myself for that. And in this hostile environment for myself, I was not able to appreciate the support that I was receiving. So it was simply a downward spiral because, a person who's around you, to a degree, they do perceive themselves the way you perceive them. So with me being really closed up and feeling guilty and feeling ashamed and unworthy and putting all this pressure on myself. It was such a, trying to see through the blinders, trying to see the big picture, but you have the blinders on. So it's certainly something that has taken a toll on a relationship with my husband. And it's something that, I never really talked about it. I hinted it here and there, the rocky marriage and stuff like that, but never went into the depths of what exactly that was or what that was all about. And I'm not intending to do it here either, not right now, because there's still so many things that it's simply not the time and space to share them publicly. I'll just leave it at that. But that said, once that became my awareness, it shifted everything. And you know what it also shifted? A realization that this reality has been created for me to fully support me on my quest to live out and fulfill the mission that I was given, that I chose to answer the calling, and that I was given the most incredible gift of time to see it through. The gift of full and unconditional support to see it through. And realization that whatever the next steps are, whatever that next thing is, it gets to be, and I get to do it, create it, see it, experience it, ... I get to. So the final thought, the bottom line to this message is that if you or somebody that you know, first and foremost, you're not alone. Secondly, may this be an invitation to take a step back, take a bigger picture, and zoom in into the one thing that feels the most dreading, disappointing, the hardest, the thing that feels like, oh my gosh, right? That you're literally obsessing over every single day because you're so committed to overcoming it. What if taking a simple step back and simply flipping the coin, what if that burden now becomes the greatest gift? We all have heard, and I'm pretty sure at this point, since you are in my circles and you are watching this video, there's no such thing as failure or losing or whatever, right? It's all the lessons learned. Maybe this video right now resonates with you on a different level, on a deeper level, because I for sure know that I have heard before of how lucky you are, you should be grateful. And yeah, I was grateful, but it was a surface level gratefulness. If that even exists, I just made it up, if nothing else. But at one point, when our shells crack open and the light can come through, it just becomes very different. It gives us very different insight, and it brings up something very differently. And for me, that was it. And like I said, I felt the need to really share this with you because I know for a fact that this is something that so many other high achievers are really struggling with. It's not necessarily, like I said, the actual reality. It's our commitment to keep creating the story and keep creating the struggle where the struggle doesn't even exist, because we are so conditioned that it takes hard work and that it takes hustle and grinding and sacrificing to get to where we need to, that it can be either or. You cannot have both, right? But one last thing that really came up in a conversation with my soul sister this morning, we were talking about the exact same topic, hustle and grind. And while yes, hustle really is toxic, it's literally suffering. Grit, on the other hand, not so much. And it serves the same purpose, right? Even though you're struggling, even though it's hard, even though you fail, even though like running a marathon. At first, you're all enthusiastic. It's like, yay, I'm doing this. At the 10, 11, 12, 13th mile, like, what the heck was I thinking? But you get through that. And then you reach the finish line and you're like, I can't wait to do it again. Same thing, right? But it's grit that gets us moving and gets us going, that gets us coming back for more and more and more, because we see this island, we have this vision, we know that we can part the seas to get there. But we're creating the story of struggle to where we are right now, that yes, it keeps us busy, it keeps us working super hard, because hey, remember, those who work hard are the successful ones. If you're not working hard enough, hey, nothing is given to you, right? You need to earn it. All of those silly stories keep running in the back. So like I said, I even mentioned this in a video yesterday. Dismantling of those perceptions and those stories is one of the most integral part of the work that we do. Because even if you have everything on paper, right, in strategic form and tactical plan, it's only gonna take you so far. But dismantling of those stories, not just on a conscious level, but literally going to the unconscious, subconscious level, and then the energetic level. And what we take it even a step further is we literally recode the DNA. And I know this has been thrown around like a buzzword right now, and it's really watered down. But for that very reason, to make sure it's not watered down, but it really is in integrity. That's why my business partner and I are teaming up. It's literally life work of hers, not only in formal education, but literally 20 plus years of personal professional experience in that field, to be able to do that on a cellular level, to really realigning you with you and your greater vision and your highest version of yourself on a daily basis from inside out, to flip your own story, to flip your own coin, to change your reality, not just change and shift it, but expand it. And ultimately, so that you can look in the mirror with a conviction, say to yourself, you know what, I get to, and then insert whatever this is with ease and bliss and gratitude. I get to. No ifs or buts or whatever. You get to. Period. And you know it. And this is just a tiny piece of what the new era Aquarian leaders like you and I are experiencing and creating and stepping into, and what kind of world is it that we're creating for generations to come. And I'm so excited about it. So I'm gonna be wrapping up this live stream right now. If you're just joining, I invite you to start at the beginning when I'm done here, because there's some real juicy and golden nuggets in here. If you have questions, you know where to find me. Yeah, let's keep it rocking and rolling. So I'll talk to you soon. Until then, have a fantastic day wherever in the world you are, and I'm sending you much love. Take care.